Hello, welcome. So I'm going to be talking about the inner divine feminine and the inner divine masculine energy that exists within all of us. We all have this energy. And I brought it up in my inner child healing technique video. I encourage you to look at that. But I brought it up because one way to heal the inner child is to heal how your inner child views masculinity and femininity. And I have a hard time saying both of those things, so hopefully I don't mess it up. But in this video, I am going to be talking about the inner divine masculine energy and the inner divine feminine energy within you and how to balance these energies, because if these energies aren't balanced, you'll kind of feel like a piece of you is missing, or you'll feel fragmented, or you'll just feel really incomplete. So when you balance these energies, it provides that safety for your inner child aspect that you need, because you're allowing the two adult energies to protect this inner child aspect appropriately and sufficiently enough where you're not causing harm to anyone in your environment. You're not causing harm to yourself. You're doing what is right by you and therefore healing this inner child aspect of you. So when the inner divine feminine and inner divine masculine energy within you is imbalanced, it can feel as if you're incomplete, right? It's because you have to think of what these two energies mean. So femininity, divine femininity anyways, is flexible, it's nurturing, and it receives, and it's receptive. And if your inner child or you as a young person didn't see these characteristics playing out in your life, you may not even know that you have the capability of accessing such an energy. And it sounds cool, right? To be able to access a nurturing aspect or a flexible part of yourself where you can be open and trusting of the universe enough to receive abundance. This could be a very beneficial energy just for your life, to be able to incorporate this into your daily life. You'll feel more whole and complete. And then there's the other side where you have the divine masculine energy. This energy is providing, and it's protective, and it gives, and it projects all of that protection and security onto whatever is around to make everyone feel safe, or to make everything around it feel like it's guarded and can feel safe. So if you didn't grow up seeing that energy playing out, then you also wouldn't know that you have this ability within you. So it's very important to understand that you have this potential energy, and you using it will help heal this inner child. Because once you use these aspects of you in a balanced way, then your inner child will start to feel safe, like you are really there for you. You feel not just self-validated, but you feel whole, like you are embodying divine energy. Therefore, the inner child can be healed just from balancing these two energies. Not necessarily you have to go back and apologize to your inner child. Sorry, inner child. You can, but the best way to go about it is to just be centered with yourself and understand that you have you. It's all about tending to your needs, but also protecting your needs with strong boundaries. And this is what incorporating those divine energies will help you with. Okay, so these divine masculine and divine feminine energies, they stem from somewhere. Okay, they don't just, it is like yin and yang, right? But they stem from somewhere. And what I like to do, because I like to get to the root of things, I like to look at the chakras, because they're the energy centers. Okay, the energy centers that power us as human beings. Without these things, we wouldn't even be able to take a form, okay? We wouldn't be able to have balanced thoughts. Maybe, but the chakra system that we have allows us to be the people that we are, okay? And to have the thought processing that we have, and have the ability to feel like we do. So when it comes to the chakras, each chakra has different energy signature, and each energy signature has a dominant masculine or dominant feminine characteristic about it. So I actually have this little thing I took off Google, and I put my own like little things on the side, and I gotten into it in a separate video. I encourage you to check it out. When I went into detail about each energy body and each chakra and all that. I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm just going to jump into what chakras are more feminine and which ones are more masculine in character. So let's start with the root chakra, because this chakra can be both masculine and feminine energy. However, how I see it is that the root chakra, which gives us our form, our physical form, it's the form that we have to take first just to be born. Like the root chakra is correlated with the etheric body. The etheric body gives us our form because it's the energy that that created each organ that represents the blood flow. It represents the flow of energy within the form, and each little brain within you correlated to each mind that's going to form and manifest physically. Okay, so because of the form and the projection of a form in general, this makes the root chakra inherently masculine. Okay, inherently this chakra is masculine in quality. However, it's because of the fact that it projects that makes it more masculine. However, it can be feminine too, because it depends on the embodiment of that being. Okay, so it gets a little tricky. I think each chakra can have like a little bit of feminine and masculine to some degree. I'm just saying each one has is more dominant in one rather than the other. So the embodiment of that energy, the actual embodiment of the form, is what makes this more masculine or feminine. That's why I can be a girl, you can be a girl, they can be a guy, you can be a guy, she can be a girl, and we can see it just based on just the physical representation of that energy. That's all the root chakra does. The root chakra is really simple, and it's not something that we should overcomplicate. And I know that a lot of people like to overcomplicate the root chakra, but it really is just the first conscious like body. Like it's just like the first awareness. Like, I mean, it's not the first awareness, but it's like the first physical awareness. So when it comes to the second chakra, let's talk about the sacral. The sacral chakra is more feminine in its characteristic, because if this is more of like a reflecting energy. So when it comes to your sacral, this is where you have a lot of your like inner thoughts or inner feelings, So your insecurities, the things that you feel inside that no one else can see. Okay, this is a very feminine characteristic, to be able to feel things and it to not be a projection, but it's like information just for you. Okay, it's all about your inner esteem. Okay, your self-esteem, or your inner confidence, or your lack of confidence, or having doubt or fear. All of these feelings that you receive, like, it's one thing that they're feelings, of course it's like feminine, but it's another thing that you receive these things, like you receive this information, and this makes it feminine in nature. Okay, so let's jump to the solar plexus. The solar plexus is more masculine in energy because it projects. Okay, it's your willpower and your drive to do things within the physical realm. Okay, without your solar plexus, you would have no drive, and maybe you wouldn't even want to do anything. Like, if your solar plexus is having issues, then you're going to feel unmotivated to do stuff or uninspired. And this energy center, because it projects and because it goes and does stuff, it goes and acquires things for survival, and it projects its own individuality, this makes it masculine dominant. Okay, so then we have the heart chakra. The heart chakra is, I correlate it with the subconscious mind. And we can watch my other video if you want to know why, but it's a subconscious. It has a lot of information that it retains. It's received a lot. But with the heart chakra, you can also use this aspect of you to nurture others from your heart. Okay, that's a very feminine quality, to nurture and to receive information. Okay, so that means that this energy center, the heart chakra, is feminine dominant. Okay, and I guess just for the sake of it, I'll throw in the inner child aspect because it's kind of like smack down right there next to the heart chakra a little bit. It's the inner child is a combination of the solar plexus energy projecting onto this heart space energy. Well, they're both sharing energy because it's like, if you feel something in your heart, it's the data of whatever events that you've been through, just from however long, like even just from being in your womb, in your mother's womb, you would have all this inner information just stored in the subconscious mind. And some people recall even having memories of like being babies, like being very, very young. And even though you may not have been consciously aware enough now to be able to recite it as an actual memory, you can dig into your subconscious and pull it out, and it makes you feel kind of a certain way, right? When you remember something so long ago at your most vulnerable, you barely formed like any form of I'm having trouble. You barely form any kind of wherewithal. Okay. And the fact that you can remember something as minuscule as being in your baby crib, and you remember the blanket you had next to you. These things are subconscious, and this can also be traced back to this inner child aspect. Okay, so the inner child remembers these things and uses these things to drive itself later on down the road with this solar plexus energy to get itself where it wants to go, to remind itself of this heart aspect. Okay, so when you use those two energies, it helps this inner child feel better. Okay, well, when you use them appropriately, not just using them, but you want to be able to use them appropriately, and that's what makes the inner child feel better. The fact that you can get up and do those things for yourself, and the fact that you can nurture something else, really drives this inner child. So it's really hard for me to say that this inner child aspect is either or. I mean, it is next to the heart space, so it is considered like a feminine dominant energy. But I think it also traces back to the embodiment of that individual soul, the actual embodiment of the physical embodiment. Because depending on how you're born, like if you're born a girl, you're going to have different experiences than when you're born a boy. Okay, so let's jump to the throat chakra. So this throat chakra is kind of similar to the root chakra in the fact that when you have this physical aspect of you, but when it comes to the throat chakra, it's considered like a non-physical physical aspect. Okay, so because it's a non-physical physical aspect, and it projects, like this is where you project a lot of the things you're going to be relating yourself to the world with. And because you're projecting this energy outward, it makes it more masculine in nature. However, because of the fact that it depends on the actual embodiment of that person, and when I say embodiment, you can be a man and be more feminine in nature. So you may even hear it in your tone of voice or how you communicate. The projection of you would come off more feminine. So the energy signature itself is more masculine dominant because of the fact that it projects. However, it really depends on the embodiment that the soul is taking on, whether or not it comes off more masculine or more feminine. Okay, so the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is where you receive a lot of information, right? And because you receive a lot of information here, this makes this aspect of you feminine. You also only connect to things you're seeing when it's based on your emotional bias. So I can totally not see something because I'm not emotionally connected to it in some way, or I'm not emotionally attached in some way. So I can be looking dead straight at something, right? And still not notice the thing that I was supposed to notice because I'm not emotionally connecting, or I'm just not connected to it. And connecting is a feminine characteristic, okay? So last chakra we're going to cover is the crown chakra. So the crown chakra, this is mostly dominant in masculine energy. And the reason for that is because the crown chakra is all about how you structure and present yourself within your reality, within everything you're experiencing in the here and now. Okay? So because it's all about structuring and what you're going and how you're going to present projection and how you're going to structure yourself, okay? This is very masculine energy, okay? So hopefully that rundown made sense to you. So when I talk about divine feminine and divine masculine energy, it traces back to these chakras because each chakra has an energetic signature where each one is dominant, either masculine or feminine energy. And so when you're trying to balance these energies, when you're trying to balance your inner divine feminine or inner divine masculine energies, you can think of these chakras if that helps. Or you can just think of the characteristics of what feminine energy and what masculine energy is. So to balance these energies, first you do have to understand it. And then second, understanding the chakras help. Third, you have to be kind of willing. You have to be willing to provide these things for yourself, okay? You have to believe that you are worthy to receive this energy from yourself because you're the one who has it. You have it. You can give it to yourself, and therefore you are automatically deserving of it, okay? So when you balance these energies and you start to give these energies to yourself, it will help your inner child heal, okay? So when you're discovering more and more of your unique inner divine masculine, inner divine feminine energies, of course I gave you like a brief description of what they all look like, but they're going to look different for each person because each person's ego is a lot different. The way we express our individuality is very different. So it has to be unique to you. That's what makes that masculine energy feel safe within its reality, is that it's able to project its own ideas and its own individuality into its circumstances enough where it can feel like it can exert its own power, okay? And this is where a lot of the energy that you project as a divine masculine energy comes from. It comes from this ego aspect or this solar plexus, okay? And I call it the ego because I correlate each chakra with the mind, okay? And if you want to know more about that, then I have videos on that, and I talk about it a lot in my videos, so I encourage you to check that out. But when it comes to your inner feminine energy, a lot of that comes from the sacral space and the heart space, okay? Well, I usually consider the other higher chakras as you are balancing these energies. However, that will come naturally the more you work on the lower chakras, okay? So from the heart to the solar plexus, to the sacral, to the root, the more you work on those, the more you'll be able to open up space to use the higher chakras. It'll just come more naturally. And you want to be able to balance like one hemisphere of you first before you jump to the other hemisphere, because it can get a little overwhelming. So focus on just the lower hemisphere first, balancing that. And then, you know, you want to be able to understand the energy signature of masculine and feminine energy. So then as you integrate those different characteristics in your own life, and you give that energy also back to yourself, which means you're protecting yourself, you're putting out the boundaries needed to protect yourself, you nurture yourself, and you're there for yourself, you're emotionally supportive of yourself, you're on your own team, you're your cheerleader, you even provide for yourself, and you also don't mind providing for others as a result. These things help the masculine or the feminine energy within you enough so then now your energy becomes almost like overflowing with more of this energy, where you start projecting the energetic signature of literally embodying divine masculine or divine feminine energy. Okay, you can literally embody these energies because you have so much of it. Okay, you have so much of it harnessed within you, and you have so much of it to give to others that you are just the source of this energy all of a sudden, right? And it makes your inner child feel good. You know, your inner child can rely on you. It's almost like you're giving your inner child stable parents. And this will make you feel safe, really safe within yourself, self-validated. So let's go back to the chakras, because when it comes to inner child, it can become a little hectic. But it's different for everyone. Everyone has an inner child aspect. It would be impossible for you to not have an inner child aspect unless you were never a child, which is not the case, okay? So how you help your feminine energy is by listening more to your feelings, acknowledging them. You have to acknowledge the fact that you have feelings. Sorry, you're a human, you have feelings. And letting yourself know that it's okay to have feelings, because everyone has feelings. Like, unless like you're around people that convince you that they don't have feelings or they act heartless. In fact, I noticed that the people who act the most heartless are the ones who are the most emotional, okay? Because it comes to the point sometimes where emotions become so overwhelming for a person that they become shut out. Okay, you just shut down when emotions come along because you are so emotional within yourself that you're not trusting of emotions. Like, you don't even trust your own ability to handle emotions. And if you are like that, then that means your feminine energy is kind of wounded. You may have imbalanced feminine energy because it's like you don't even have the trust in yourself. And feminine energy, divine feminine energy, requires you to be more trusting. And without that, then you're going to be in fight mode, which means you're going to be in more masculine energy, okay? And it probably won't even be divine masculine energy. It would just be just a defensive, wounded masculinity. And of course, when you're in that energy, it can come off more animalistic. And that's not going to help your inner child, because now your inner child's fighting for its survival, okay? Because it doesn't have stable parents, okay? So you have to have stable energies. You have to balance them. So let's talk about the masculine energy. So when it comes to masculine energy, like with your ego, and of course also with the things that you do with your root chakra, like you acting on things and taking care of your body is a very masculine trait, because it's like, think about it. In every animal species, the males always look better than the females, right? Because they have to keep up with their appearance, because it's like they have genes that they're trying to provide, okay? They have genes that they're trying to provide to whatever generation of youngins that they have later on down the line, right? So if you're not taking care of your body, or you're not looking after your body, then you're not allowing your masculine energy within you to feel confident with yourself. And confidence is a big part of masculinity, okay? Without it, you're not going to be projecting a lot of masculine energy or divine masculine energy. So working on your confidence is very helpful for the root chakra. So then you can feel good enough in your body to do the things that you need to do so you can provide for yourself at least, okay? And also when it comes to the ego is all about also getting stuff done and doing what's necessary for its survival. Except here is where you project more of your individuality and your personality. Well, yeah, kind of your personality, but you're just your individuality as a individual soul. So if you're not able to do that and you feel like you're not confident enough to be who you want to be, if you're not able to project who you are authentically, this is going to make your masculine dominant energy feel like it's not acceptable, okay? And when it feels constrained, like I don't know any masculine energy that likes to feel constrained, but when you do that to your masculine energy, it really harms it and it stunts its own development. You're not able to develop your masculine energy enough to feel free in who you are, to build that confidence, to be able to build proper foundations for yourself. And if you're not building proper foundations for yourself with your ego or your solar plexus, then your inner child's going to feel like things are just falling apart all around it and things aren't stable. Okay? So the reason why it's important to work on these things is because it does help the inner child. As I keep touching on, it's very beneficial to work on the small things first. Okay? Balancing your inner divine masculine and inner divine feminine energy will help heal this inner child, but also helps you feel more whole within yourself. And this is just a part of self-development, to be able to have that feeling of wholeness within yourself, so then you don't feel blocked within your own body to do the things you want to do, or to feel the things that you feel, or to speak what's on your mind. These things help you heal as a person and to be able to project more radiant energy in general. Without being able to do those things, you feel restricted and you feel frustrated, you feel unsettled. And that means you've encountered an energetic blockage. So each time you're working on your inner divine and inner divine masculine, inner divine feminine energy, and you feel that frustration and you feel that unsettled energy, try to see what that energetic blockage could be about. It's not always going to be awesome to find energetic blockages. When you come across them and something just makes you feel uneasy, you're just like, oh, why does this trigger me? It's good that you've discovered something that triggers you. That means it's an energetic block, and that means it's something that you can either reprogram or remove or resolve in some way, so then you can feel more balanced. Because if one of your chakras has like certain programs or certain blockages within how it's operating, then the energy body that is representing that chakra won't be flowing so freely, and that's why you feel so blocked. Like it's not, that energy body is not able to express itself in its dimension properly. So each chakra has an energy body, and think of these energy bodies as the embodiment of each energy center. Okay, there's an embodiment for each energy center. They're less dense. Usually when it comes to the etheric body, it's more dense than your emotional and mental body. Although the whole mentality in general and this physical form can be considered mental. It can be. Like I can hold up 2 fingers and you know that I'm holding 2 fingers. You start counting it in your head. Okay, it's inherently mental. However, it's the unity of both the masculine and feminine energies within that mentality that create this chakra system, okay? And this chakra system allows you to play out these different dimensions of you. And if you're able to play out each dimension of you, you will feel more whole. You will feel safe within yourself. You'll feel self-validated. No one's going to be able to take your power away, and no one can tell you otherwise, okay? So I really hope you like this video. If you want to check out my other videos, I encourage you to, because I do talk about energy bodies. I talk more about chakras. I even made a chakra series, so I encourage you to look at those. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was insightful.